It's always the same expectation. I have to be able to get us over the hump to win a championship. I know that the group of guys that are always placed around myself is capable of it. Maybe we all got to do a little bit more, but a championship is coming to the future in Miami.
All right, Kendrick, Perkins, Zach Lowe with us as promised. So Jimmy Butler just said it. Not only is he going to win a championship with Miami, he also has said, he's told us this on NBA Today, he said it again here, that potentially Miami could be the last place that he plays in the NBA. So Zach, I want to start with you here. They made it to the finals last year. They've lost a couple of key pieces. At this point, we're all on Damian Lillard to Miami watch. What is the ceiling for the Miami Heat this year?
Are we going to sit here and doubt Jimmy Butler?
No.
How many times are the Heat going to have to defy expectations? 2 finals, a conference finals where they're 1 shot away from a 3rd finals. That's Jimmy Butler's 4 seasons in Miami. Lillard or no Lillard, do not count this team out. Even if they don't get Dame Lillard, yeah, they lost 2 starters from their playoff run in Max Strus and Gabe Vincent. They'll get Tyler Hero back in this non-Dame scenario. Kyle Lowry's still here. And look, Boston's got to figure out a new identity with Porzingis and without Marcus Smart. Philly's in limbo right now. Milwaukee's got to figure out what in the heck happened to them in the playoffs. Another bad playoff collapse. Of course, they won the title 2 years ago, so they get some leeway in that sense. I'm not counting on Miami. I'm not going to pick them to make the finals unless they get Dame, and even then, I'll have to think about it. But Jimmy Butler, he can proclaim whatever he wants, and I will listen, and I will not doubt him anymore.
Well, it's not about doubting Jimmy Butler, to your point, Zach, but I think the last thing you said is the most important one, right? Which is that, as of right now, nobody's picking the Miami Heat to make the NBA Finals. If they get Damian Lillard, I think they have the best big 3 in the NBA, and I think they would arguably be the favorites to make the NBA Finals and arguably to win the championship. And to me, that's what is at stake here for Jimmy Butler and the Heat. As we know, Jimmy's in his mid-30s, as is Damian Lillard. There's a reason why they are the one team that's really trying to get in the Damian Lillard sweepstakes, because for all the risks that come with trading for a guy who's entering his age 33 season, that is owed $200 million, that is a guy who is not exactly a defensive stalwart on a good day, he is a guy that if you put him with Jimmy Butler this year and next year, that team can win a championship, and that is where the difference in the ceiling is.
Yeah.
If they get Damian Lillard, they can win a title. Without him, yeah, they'll be competitive in the East. They could potentially get back to the finals again, but you're not going to sit here and say the Miami Heat are definitely a championship contending team. With Damian Lillard, that is their ceiling.
Well, but being doubted, right? That's exactly where Miami, that's exactly where Jimmy Butler, that's exactly where this team thrives, Kendrick. And I think, Zach, to your point, we still have questions. What exactly is going on with the Celtics? How's Kristaps Porzingis going to fit? You know, there's a couple of a minor tune-up, right, for Giannis over the summer. How's he going to look coming back? Again, never doubting what Giannis is going to look like. But there feels like there's a little bit of wiggle room, Perk, at the top of the East.
Well, not exactly. It's not too much wiggle room. And look, one thing about it is that I will not come on here and disrespect the Heat culture, Eric Spoelstra, and Jimmy Butler. But I will say this. They're not the favorites, nor would I have them the favorite, even if they picked up Damian Lillard. The Milwaukee Bucks, the way that they're currently constructed, we know what Giannis is going to bring to the table, and let's be honest. Right, part of being able to get to the finals and winning the championship, you have to be lucky with health. And we know that Giannis Antetokounmpo, he missed a few games in that series, and even when he came back, he still wasn't 70% healthy. So now you look at Chris Middleton. He finally get an off season. I have everything invested into the Milwaukee Bucks this upcoming season for us representing the Eastern Conference. I don't want to disrespect the Miami Heat, but even if they get Damian Lillard and they was to face this Milwaukee Bucks team again, I'm picking Milwaukee in the series, and I'm picking Milwaukee to go on to the NBA Finals and represent the East.
Man, Richard is not here, so I have to be the one to ask, like, is that the Milwaukee Bucks team that lost the Heat in the first round? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's that one.
Same team. Here's
with the healthy Giannis potentially, though, right, for the entire series.
Correct.
But go ahead.
Okay. But to me, the issue with the Heat is while they wait on Damian Lillard, it's restricting their ability to fill out the roster around Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. I mean, you lose Gabe Vincent and Max Strus. Okay, I believe in the Heat culture, and I believe that there's someone in Sioux Falls that we don't know about, or someone that they saw at Summer League that they're going to bring in, and we're all going to be wondering where they came from. I like Jaquez that they drafted, right? But because you have so much influx, because half that list that you're showing on the screen there, seeing their name mentioned in possible deals for Damian Lillard, it's hard for the Heat to fill out that roster right now because of the uncertainty that is going to take, and Joe Cronin's word from the general manager from Portland, could take months.
Joel Embiid, he's entering the first year of a 4-year Supermax deal. He's just won his first MVP, but his recent comments about wanting to win a title, quote, in Philly or anywhere else, they've drawn a lot of attention from us NBA fans. And Embiid in Philadelphia, they haven't made it past the second round in all 6 of his playoff appearances. So Ramona Shelburne is with us now. Ramona, how did those comments reverberate around the 76ers organization in particular?
Okay, around the organization or around Philly?
Both.
Because I think around the organization, I don't think there was any surprise. Look, Daryl Morey picked up the phone and called Joel Embiid after he heard those quotes. And now, granted, those quotes were from Thursday, but they didn't air until yesterday because they kind of wasn't from a public event where it was going to be aired. But he picked up the phone, called him, and said, you know, you all right, big guy, right? But I think the Sixers organization is very aware that there's pressure on them to win. There's been pressure on them to win the whole time, and they want to reassure him, hey, we're going to do whatever we can to put a championship team around you. The situation with James Harden is not ideal, but they are going to try to honor James's request for a trade, but they're looking for a player, and this is what they're looking that will help them try to win a championship next year. And if it's not a player that they can get on a one-for-one trade, then they want players that can help them get that player next year. And so the bar is pretty high in terms of their expectations.
Yeah.
Daryl Morey just wanted to reassure Joel Embiid, we are trying to win. Like, this isn't a teardown that you're not going to get stuck here in a rebuild. We're trying to win around you.
Right now, unfortunately, he does prefer to be somewhere else. I do have a long relationship with him. I'm attempting to honor that. If we don't get, either a very good player or something that we can turn into a very good player, then we're just not going to do it. And if James were to turn his mind around, we would all be thrilled. You heard Joel's comments about that. But at this moment, he does prefer to be traded, and we're attempting to honor that.
All right, Zach Lowe of the worldwide Zach Lowe Post podcast. I know you spoke about this at length on it. The 76ers, Game 7 away, right, from the Eastern Conference Finals. Do you really think that this is the time to blow all this up, or does running it back with Harden and Embiid, does that give the Sixers the best chance of winning?
We're not going to do it. That's what Daryl Morey said in those comments about if we don't get what we want for James Harden, we're not going to do it. And I just have to wonder, are they really going to have this happen to Joel Embiid for a second time in 3 seasons, where for a huge portion of the season, he's got to carry a team without its second best player due to some unhappiness with the organization? Ben Simmons first, James Harden now. It's an enormous burden for a guy who seems to get to the playoffs every year, injured and tired from going all out in the regular season. That's just a big, big ask, and you better sit down with Joel Embiid and Joel Embiid's people and make sure that that's actually something everybody wants to sign up for, regardless of what the offers you are and aren't getting for Harden. As for Joel, I agree with Malika. This is almost old news. Before last season on this show, we did segments like, which team has the most pressure on them to win this year? And the answer I gave over and over was Philadelphia, for exactly this reason. When James Harden opted into his contract a month ago and asked to be traded, I said on this show, the most important name in this entire conversation is not James Harden, it's not Ben Simmons, it's not Daryl Morey, it's Joel Embiid. Because since they flamed out against the Hawks 2 seasons ago with Ben Simmons passing off to Matisse Thybulle, and since they flamed out again against Miami with James Harden in Ben Simmons' place, the clock on this has been ticking. There's only so long that you can keep running into the same wall over and over again and switching the players around the guy in the middle. It's just, it feels like the pressure has just been building for a long time now.
The definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. Perk, what do you think of Daryl Morey's comments?
Boom! Blow it up. Blow it up. Because, like, let's be real here. Unless you're trading James Harden to get back a Paul George, then what are we really talking about? And the Clippers are not going to do that. So at the end of the day, if you bring back a disgruntled James Harden, That's not good for the Philadelphia 76ers. History has shown us when James Harden is not happy, he's not afraid to show the world what if he don't want to be somewhere. So again, we look at Joel Embiid history for us right now, him scratching the surface of his prime. Well, his prime to me is not like every other superstar in the league because of his injury history. And so when you have a guy that's producing at the level he's producing at right now, you have to take advantage of that. You have to go all in like the Phoenix Suns and surround him with players that are going to get the job done, period.
Look, on the Hoop Collective, we have a mantra, actions over words, right? So Daryl could say whatever they're going to do right now in terms of trying to build a winning team. The bottom line is they have to build a team that's championship caliber to keep Joel Embiid in Philly. Now, as we sit here right now, we talked in the last segment about where Cleveland sits, where these other teams sit. The Sixers right now are not one of the two best teams in the East. They're behind Milwaukee. They're behind Boston. Certainly, they're going to be behind Miami if they get Damian Lillard. So we're already looking at a ceiling, most likely right now, of them losing in the second round again. So then you get to next summer when they're potentially going to have 2 max slots. Then they have to go into next summer and put pieces around Joel Embiid that are going to get this team to a level that goes beyond that. And if they don't, then we're going to be sitting here going, what is Joel Embiid going to do? Because at this point, as Zach said earlier, you keep going to this line over and over and over again, running into the second round wall and losing. At some point, something's got to give. And eventually, it's going to be Joel Embiid saying, I want to do something different than losing the second round.
Exactly.